Hi everyone, I hope you're fine and doing well with the current time. This is a tutorial for the exercise of finding and cleaning data, and I'll teach you here with this video how to unify all the Excel spreadsheets. The first step is to open Excel and to create a new spreadsheet. We're doing it right here. We'll save it in order to avoid losing data in the future. So I use the same folder. I have all the other spreadsheets, and I'll give it the name Unified Dataset. Once I have this data, I will start opening all the other Excel spreadsheets. I will start with the vote data. Why I choose the vote data? Because it's the file that has all the identification for each province and autonomous community, as well each code. So we can have here. I will just copy this and paste in the new unified dataset to start copying and paste all the information I have from other spreadsheets. So now I have this here. I have ordered this just to certify. I order again. I ordered by the code. As you can remember, we created the code to avoid different orders in the names of the provinces. So we avoid this assigning values for one province that belongs to other one. So now we have the base for copying and pasting all other variables. Let's start opening the datasets. I will start with divorce. Open here. Before copying and pasting, I always will order columns, so I'm sure that the values correspond to the corresponding province. So I'm copying here. If I right click, it opens this menu. I can also just click here, copy, and then I can here go back window, unified dataset, select a column and paste. And I do this with all other variables. Let's open GDP. The same. First we order, then we copy, and we paste, and so on. So for homicides, the same. The first thing, always ordering in order to guarantee that all values correspond to the province we want. So let me do here, and I'm pasting everything. Population. As you can see, the work is repetitive, so you need to copy and paste a lot, but it's not difficult to do. So in most part, now we can start doing some things that we need to simplify data before copying. Here we have theft, and we need the change in theft between 2012 and 2016, and we also need the theft rate for 2016. This theft rate we will compute using population data, so it's after we join all the data sets. But first we can calculate the rate of change from 2012 to 2016. So the first thing I need to do is to do a subtraction between the values of 2016 minus 2012. So the symbol for this in Excel is equal. So B2 minus F2. I can just type this or do as I did. So once I have this, I can copy this formula and paste for all provinces. Okay, but what I want is the rate of change. So the rate of change is what is the proportion of this number over this one. So it's easy. It's just to divide G2, this one, by F2, this one. So, and multiply by 100. So I have the percentage of change. I have for here, for example, in the province number 1, Alabama, a reduction of 4.3% in theft between 2012 and 2016. Now I just need to copy this and paste for all provinces. This gives me the rate of change for all provinces from 2012 to 2016. But this is our formulas. As you can see, the value here appears as formulas. If I click here is the value, but if I click here, these are formulas. What I need to do to convert formulas into numbers, I just click on the column, I copy, and I select paste values here. Okay, now I have the values, and I can just delete all this information. And I just keep theft in 2016 that I need to compute the values and the rate of thefts in 2016, and I have the rate of change. But I cannot forget to order before copy. Now I can copy and go back to our unified dataset and paste this. Now I have this information here, and keep. Now unemployment. Unemployment is the same thing. I need to compute the average rate of unemployment. I have the trimestral rates, so I just need to do a sum and a mean. So I just need to sum B2 plus C2 plus D2 plus E2 divided by 4. Oops, of course, here. So what I have here is around 12% of unemployment, or I can just use a formula. So promedio, or mean if you're using an English language Excel, B2, 2 points, E2. It's the same thing. If I round the numbers, I have the same result. I copy the formulas and paste for all, and you see that it's the same result. Okay, let me just eliminate this, and as before, I need to copy and paste as values to avoid transferring formulas instead of numbers to the other. Once I do this, I just delete these columns. I don't need them anymore, and order by the code of the province. Then I copy and paste in our unified dataset. As you can see, it's really easy. It needs just a little bit of practice, but it's easy to do. Now we go back to the vote data. The vote data is the more complicated one because it has a lot of information there, and we need first to delete some of the information. We don't need the names anymore. We don't need population anymore, the number of mesas, censo, total voter, valid voters, either blank, no voters, no votes. You can just delete everything, and we can delete all the number of deputies or representatives each party has by provinces. We don't need this. We won't use this data, so we just delete it. Okay. It's a tedious job, but we need to do this. I'm selecting each column by clicking and pressing Ctrl. By pressing Ctrl, it keeps all the columns selected and allows us to add additional columns to the selection. So I'm selecting each one of them. Started with DP, is the number of diputados. There's so many parties. So I select all, then I right click here and click and eliminate, delete. So I have deleted all the information concerning deputies. Now I have just the number of votes in each party. Okay, so the next step is completing the votes in Podemos. For example, we have some provinces or some parties like Compromiss that they are Podemos, but they have different names. They are different candidacies, regional candidacies. Compromiss is a small party, regional party from Valencia that goes with Podemos. So we just copy here and paste in Podemos these values for Compromiss. Once we've done that, we delete to avoid having problems with this data. ECP, En Común Podemos, also is another candidacy based on Podemos or related to Podemos, and then we do the same. We eliminate this, and Marea, I think is the last one. And just I delete en Marea. So we can choose among many different parties we want to include. I want to include the main parties, these four, and the nationalist parties. So Esquerra Republicana, Convergencia, PNV, Bildu, Coalición Canaria, y BNG. So I will insert some of them here. Bildu, I'll just cut and then paste here. The same for BNG. So now I can eliminate these columns. So now I have the main parties and the nationalist parties. PACMA has no representation, so I would consider it as part of the other parties group. Now what I do is just I select all the values for the rest of the parties, and then I click here in auto sum. If we go back there to the end, we see that I can put the name VT other, and I copy and paste the formula for all provinces, and then I do what I did before with the other spreadsheets. I copy and I paste as values. So now I can just click here and delete all these small parties, and have just the information I need to compute the percentage of votes in these core parties and nationalist parties. So the first thing I do in order to not repeating myself, I just copy here and paste the names, and I will replace VT by P to represent percentage instead of vote. I can go here also and just change. The most difficult thing about data analysis is that there's a lot of repetitive work if you don't know how to do it with other statistical tools. So I'll show you how it's done in R, for example. So you see that it's much easier to do these kinds of things. But now I have all the new names of the variables, and I will just compute the percentage. The percentage is the value of the vote in each party divided by this total number of votes in candidacies. So I just equal for the formula. So the vote in the PP in the province 1, Alaba, it's C2 divided by B2 plus multiplied by 100 because I want percentage. So I have this number, 20.6%. And I need to do this for all other parties. So D2 divided by B2 multiplied by the 100 the same thing. Oops, 100 D2, no, it's B2. Okay, 31%. Divided B2 by 100. Oops. This one G. H2 divided B2 multiplied by 100. So there's a lot of repetition with small variations here, but let's do this. How can we be sure that these formulas are right? We can just here select all and ask for auto sum. It sums 100, it's okay, it's fine, everything works. So now what I need to do is just to copy these formulas and paste them here. So now I apply these formulas to all provinces. And again, to transform formulas into values, I just copy and paste as values. Now I just need to do is to order again the codes, the provincial codes, and copy these variables here to our unified data set. So now I have most of our variables already in one data set. Now I just need to compute the final indicators we need. For example, it's divorce rate. Divorce rate. The divorce rate is basically the number of divorce for each group of 10,000 inhabitants. So we divided divorce, so D2, by population, G2, and multiply by 10,000. 10, 1, 2, 3, 10,000. So I have here the divorce rate in Araba. I just copy and paste for all provinces, and again copy and paste as values. For homicide rate is the same, but for 100,000 inhabitants. So it's like G2 divided by, no, it's F2 divided by G2 multiplied by 100,000 inhabitants. I copy the formula, I paste it, and I copy the column and I paste as values. Now I need the theft rate for 2016. Is the last indicator we need. So we need also is computed as per 100,000 inhabitants. So H2 divided by G2 by population multiplied by 100,000. And again, since the number is high, I just eliminate the the decimal mark around the numbers, and then I copy and paste as values. Okay, so we have, don't forget to save your dataset, and so we have now the final dataset with all the information we need. We have all the variables we need to start analyzing this data. I'll give you an example now on how this can be done using R. I just open here the project I have on your course, and I prepare some codes here to illustrate how this is done. So I use R because it's simple, just it's a statistical package, and here is the code for opening. You don't need to know this. It's just an example. Each one of this line open one of these Excel spreadsheets. So here I'm telling the system R to open both data here: homicide, GDP, theft, divorce, population, and unemployment. So what R just did was to upload here the data, and I have the data here on divorce and on GDP, on homicide, on population, on theft, on unemployment, and on voting behavior. Okay, so the next thing I do is I will just select those columns with start with DP, and the identification of the votes in the vote data, the first 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I would select these ones, and all the others that contains VT underscore. So now, for example, I just put here names VT, and I have all these variables here, and I just select and rerun. I just much less, from 113 to 62 variables, and now I just can unify the votes in Podemos, for example. Now I sum Podemos, and I delete the variables I just from the other confluences. If you can see here that now I have new variable Podem, that is all the vote in Podemos. Now I sum all other values to other votes, but I did include here Bildu and Coalición Canaria or BNG. So I will do this. So I want to select 1 to 17, and then 19, that is the vote in Bildu, 20, 24, and I will just order this first and have all. $18, 21 to 23, and then 25 to 58. I'm just reordering the columns. If I put here names VT, I'm just putting here in the new order: no votes, Bildu, Coalición Canaria, BNG, Podemos, and then all the other. So I can now sum from the 21st to the 59 and call it other. So I can compute the percentage of PP, PSOE, Podemos, Ciudadanos, Esquerra, PNV, but I also will include here Bildu, Coalición Canaria, en BNG. So now I just select the identification, the name of the province, the code, the name of the autonomous community, the code of the province and the name of the province, and only the percentages of that I'm interested into. So I need 1, 2, 3, the three first columns, and then I'll select from 61 to the end, the number of columns of the vote. So if I just see, now I have the name of the autonomous community, the name of the province, the code of the province, the name of the province, and the percentage of voting these different parties. Now I will compute changing theft, unemployment rate. I'm doing the same thing I did before, and I just merging in a new data set called DF, and I'm just computing the new, all the divorce rate, the homicide rate, the change rate from 2012 to 2016, and the theft rate. And then now I have this new data set with all the information I want. Okay, so it's ready, and it's much more productive to do this way. You start doing this in Excel, but the idea is that when you get more acquainted to data analysis, you start using this kind of tools like R or any other statistical package to do it for you. You don't need to go there and copy and paste all the time, because you can, with 52 provinces, it's okay, but it's really difficult when you have thousands of or hundreds of thousands of observations that most voting data or demographic data have. So this is a first exercise, and this is explaining how to merge, how to create one new data set, and how to compute each indicator as I asked you to. Okay, thank you, and in the next video we'll see how to analyze this data. Okay, bye bye.